Welcome back to the Real Estate Show on KMED. Pete Belcastro, real estate guy, here with you today. Thank you for being with us this weekend. Real Estate Show here in KMED. You know, one of the topics we talk, so many interesting different things you can talk about in real estate and what an economic impact it has throughout the Rogue Valley, obviously. We know that. Its impact is great. We also know that it's so varied and people at different times use it for different things, and we've certainly heard that. One of them today is age-friendly homes in the Rogue Valley. That sounds such a simple statement, age-friendly homes in the Rogue Valley, and you think that maybe your home is age-friendly, when in fact, it probably is not age-friendly as it certainly can be, with the goal being for so many of us as we age is to stay in our home as long as we can. Many people, I think that's the number one thing if I see surveys that people want to do as they age is to stay in their home as long as they can. Well, who better to talk about this than Howard and Sharon Johnson, age-friendly, age-certified specialists of the Rogue Valley. Sharon, first of all, nice to see you. We go back to those days at Rogue Valley Community Television, don't we?
Indeed, we do. It's great to see you as well.
You were an extension agent, the OSU extension agent there, and you dealt with aging issues.
That's correct. And that's probably what led me in this direction.
Yeah.
What I want to do is keep finding ways for people to stay independent in their own homes, in their own lives. So
did that become evident to you as you did your shows and you talked with so many seniors, talked to so many people? Did that just become evident that this was really something that, you wanted to do further, explore the world of that particular thing of age-friendly homes?
Well, in a way, I'm a little surprised that I'm doing it because there are other parts of aging that have interested me more in times past. But for Howard and I, we retired and we realized that our own home, Victorian, 2-story, lots of yard work, was not the home for us to age in. And that led us in the direction, true for us, true for other people.
Yeah. Howard Johnson is here as well. So you retired. What did you do before you retired?
I was a international fisheries consultant.
An international fisheries consultant?
Yeah. Which took me far away from the valley, all over the world.
And so Sharon had this particular love, obviously. And so how did you delve into that? That's a big change for somebody when you retire.
Well, I was brought into it kicking and screaming.
Yeah.
No, we sat down in our home in Jacksonville and we talked about the future and retirement and what we wanted to do and where we wanted to live. And we came to the realization, I think in part because of what Sharon had experienced and learned about, that in looking at our own home, if something were to happen to either one of us, it would be a challenge to stay in that home because all of the bedrooms and the master bath and so forth were on the upper floor.
Upstairs.
And very difficult to get to. We even brought in a remodeler and said, could we make this home more accessible if we had, and he basically said,
no.
It'll cost you too much money.
Cost you too much money to do it.
You'd have to put in an elevator, for example. So that kind of began the whole process of thinking about, okay, if we can't live in this home, and I must say I'm not as disappointed to get rid of that yard, which was a challenge. But we began to try and figure out what would work as we got older and led us into this whole age-friendly area.
So you guys had that same moment that my place is too big. I can't take care of it anymore. I need to do something different as I getting older because I cannot do it. I can't tell you in the 7 years that I've been a real estate broker, that topic comes up so many times with everybody. I mean, even younger people who have a place that they can't take care of anymore. But certainly as you get older, it becomes a big issue. And then it becomes more expensive to stay in there as well and things like that. And then you can't get around, you're going to fall, and those kinds of things lead to more problems. So that's how you got into the thing, right? So that was it.
Right. And, Pete, it's really about universal design because the kind of homes that we as aging adults who might be in a wheelchair, have a walker, want are the same kind of homes that a young mom with a baby carriage or baby stroller wants, or that a teenager with a broken leg and crutches wants. So universal design is really the underpinning to all of this.
Mm-hmm. Is there, can I have my home, I can have it remodeled, I could have a new one built. Right. I guess those are the two options but some homes, as you say, can't really even fit those particular models of being an age-friendly home for someone. So tell me how you guys, what are you doing? You started, what, a business or a nonprofit? I'm not sure how tell me what you've done to get going in this world here, because you're really bringing this forward now, and it's becoming very public now and more aware that this option, okay, it's an option that was previously seemed unavailable to me as a senior, is now being put on the table, correct?
That's right.
For a debate, I guess.
To answer your question first, we actually started a nonprofit called Age Friendly Innovators in December of last year. And that's really sort of an educational, informational platform, if you will, to reach out to people and help them understand what their options are in terms of their home or a new home. But at the same time, we realized that there wasn't a lot out there for people to see in terms of new construction. Mm-hmm. And if builders aren't recognizing this need, then there's going to be a problem for people that, can't stay in their home, but they want to still live independently. So we worked out an arrangement with RV-COG, Senior Disability Services, had a standard they were developing called lifelong housing in cooperation with AARP Oregon. And so we looked at that certification standard and we said, that looks really great. Where's the home? And they said, well, nobody's built one yet. Well,
we don't have one.
So we worked out an arrangement with W.L. Moore Construction, which has been doing the Twin Creeks development for a number of years. They were about
in Central Point,
about to start their final phase, which they call North Village. And we sat down with them and said, look, you're going to build, I think, 150 homes. Maybe you should think about building 3 or 4 of these homes that are age-friendly and meet this standard. And initially they said, well, we're not sure that's viable, or they just didn't quite, they weren't quite there yet. 2 or 3 conversations later, they said, yeah, we think that makes sense. They identified a series of 4 lots in their project, and we constructed the first 2 homes. The first one is built and recently sold, and it's the first home in the state of Oregon to be certified to this type of lifelong housing standard. The second home is on the market, and the foundation for the third home will be poured shortly.
Wow. And so you've created kind of a market for it, because I know getting builders to see that this is going to be something that they will be able to sell to somebody probably was the hardest thing. I wonder if you had the hardest thing to do.
It is.
It is. We agree on that totally.
Well, that was yeah.
And one of the ways, one of the educational forums that we have in mind for this is next Saturday on April 26th, a collaboration with RV-COG and AARP Oregon and Ashland at Home and a number of people in the Valley, organizations like ours, people like us who want to educate builders, appraisers, real estate agents. And so an all-day symposium that we'd love to have people come to, and they can register on the RV-COG website. It's full of ideas and opportunities, and at the end of the day, there will be a tour of the first certified age-friendly home in the state of Oregon.
Mm-hmm. We'll tell you more about that in the end of the segment in terms of the symposium next weekend. What Howard, when you look at the home, what's the difference? I mean, if I walk into your home there on Haskell Street in Central Point, and what am I going to see different than, or what am I going to see? What makes it different, I guess, than what I'm used to when I walk into homes to show people?
Here's the secret sauce.
Okay,
you may not see anything different.
I may not.
Because, but there are subtle things. You may notice that there are no steps from the sidewalk into the house. No steps at all.
That's that's pretty significant.
But it's really not that noticeable when you look at the house from the outside. You may not notice that the doors are actually wider. The opening is 36 inches. Standard tradition has been 32 inches. You can't get a wheelchair through 32 inches. Okay. You need 36. So but mainly the home is adaptable. It looks like any other home. It has the same stainless steel appliances and nice cabinets, but they're the electrical outlets are higher than normal, and the thermostat controls are a bit lower, and there's larger turning radiuses in some of the, like the laundry room, for example. And it's all those subtle things that that really make that home adaptable for a changing need. We would think that anybody could live in a home like this, young or old, in any with any level of mobility.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. Say when the home resells, say you buy the home, and I'm an older person, and then when I sell the home, does it have to be another senior person to buy? Is that going to be the market to buy it, or would somebody, as you say, with a family even want something?
Well, I would say that anybody would like to live in these homes. And to me, when I walk into it, indeed, it's lovely and it's beckoning, and it doesn't look like anything special, except there's more light. There are more windows. They are lower, so someone can sit in a recliner and look out them. Older adults, older eyes need 3 to 4 times the light. So these homes offer that. So when you walk in, it's like you're happier because they're just full of light.
Well, that makes a lot of sense. Seniors need special things, but everybody can use all of this here. So what about bathrooms? I hear that in kitchens. I mean, you've talked about, walls and this kind of thing, Howard. Tell me about bathrooms and kitchens, especially.
Well, okay, very, very good question, because I think the bathroom in particular is a very important room to anybody, but certainly older adults. So the bathroom has a special type of shower that has a bench in it, and if somebody is in need of it, they can actually transfer from a wheelchair into the shower. And in the homes that we're developing, Kohler worked with us on what they call aging in place shower unit. And so those first 2 homes that have been built are with the Kohler items. We also have the vanity in the master bath. One of the sink vanities, the front can all come out, can be removed. And so you could roll a wheelchair under. Doesn't have to be, but if the need arose, you could take that out very simply. And the entrance to the bathroom is it's a pocket door, but it's wide enough for somebody that needed it in the wheelchair. So what it is it's a very spacious bathroom. Same with the closet. There's a walk-in closet. In the kitchen, you have the same sort of thing. There are a removable face on the kitchen sink. The appliances tend to be lower. The microwave is more at eye level and then up behind the stove, which you may find in a lot of homes. And there's a large turning radius around the island in one of the homes. And so they're all designed to be easier to reach. But those are things anybody would want, I would think. It's really not that obvious. One of the things I think that we like about Twin Creeks and what we've done there is there are sidewalks everywhere, and the property is very flat, so it's a walkable community. And
yes, that's very true.
We were just over there this morning, and there's an Easter egg hunt going on, and there kids all over. But it's a very walkable community, which obviously we like, and I think most seniors or young families would like.
What are tell me about other options that seniors have today? I mean, I was trying to get the way in here today. Before this comes in, that I have the ability maybe to stay in my home, to remodel it, or to purchase a different type of home. If I like you say, I can't take care of my property anymore, and I still have value in it. I want to be able to sell it. Well, I have value, because if I let it go for 5 years while I'm just hanging on there, you're going to lose the value in the property, and that you don't want to do that. So, what are options today, Sharon, that seniors have? There really aren't a lot, are there? Or they're so expensive? Or tell me what that is.
Well, we always think there are options there. Can we find ways to keep someone in a home they love? Because they just don't want to move, or because they can't afford to move. And we have developed an assessment tool, a fall risk assessment tool, where we work with people or give them the tool. They walk through their house and they try to find out, what are the things that are most important to me? Maybe I need, because I have arthritic hands, maybe I need levered doorknobs, at least a couple on the front door and on the bathroom door. We can, help them find someone to put in those levered doorknobs or levered faucets on their sinks.
So you actually have a kit, or not a kit, but a way of assessing where I'm currently in my home, what my needs are. Because the issue, and we're going to come up against a break here, but the issue is really about falling, isn't it, for so many seniors? I mean, that's such a, I hear that often so many times, that the fear of falling, and I have a place I can't get up, I can't go anywhere.
Indeed.
And this is really a big thing for a lot of people, isn't that?
Right. And falling is a game changer.
Yes, it is. I mean, you're forced to do things. So the whole purpose is to avoid those kinds of things, to stay in my home longer and enjoy my quality of life as best I can, or as long as I can. And you're right. It many times it is too expensive for seniors to move, and you have no choice. And there is help out there, so you can stay in your place longer no matter what you do. This is a great topic. We're with Sharon Johnson and Howard Johnson, age-friendly specialists, here today on the Real Estate Show. Thank you for joining us. We got two more segments to go today. This show repeats at 9 o'clock on Sunday morning, and all of our shows at realestateshoworegon.com. We'll be right back. The Real Estate Show rolls on here on KMED this weekend. Pete Belcastro with you. Thanks for being with us. Hey, today, we're talking about aging in place and age-friendly homes in the Rogue Valley, something that, you're going to hear a lot more about it, especially if you're somewhere in that retirement age of thinking, what am I going to do with my house? Like, especially people with big homes, and now, the kids are gone. I was talking to a woman, everybody's gone. She's by herself, has 3,700 square feet of this big, humongous house, saying, I don't want to take care of it anymore. It's time for me to change. And really, that's what it's about as we age. How we do that and how we approach that has got to be kind of like a crazy thing on your mind. But if you're planning for it, it seems like it would be a lot easier to do. We're with Sharon Johnson and Howard Johnson. They're aging in place specialists. This is a designation from the National Association of Home Builders. And, they're practicing what you preach. I love that, because you're actually out there amongst people putting this stuff together and showing a different option for people with housing. Because we talk about just about options, and I want to ask you about the assessment tool again. But options, really, as Sharon and Howard, you can go to the Rogue Valley Manor if you've got a lot of money, I suppose. You can go to a place like Veranda Park, or Twin Creeks is another one in Central Point. But those places, for two people, if you're a couple, they're really spendy. And, but they're an option. Right. You can stay where you are. You can move to an apartment or a townhouse, but, you certainly don't want a double-decker, a second floor, things like this. So there's just, options seem to be limited.
We're lucky in this valley because we have a number of assisted living environments, adult family homes. We have a lot of that. But when you ask people, AARP did a survey just last year, where do they want to live? They want to stay in their own home. They're willing to move if they can move to a home that makes it easy for them to live happily ever after in that home. As I've said to you before, nobody, when you ask them, says, well, I want to live in a nursing home when I'm old. You don't say that. We don't want that.
No.
So what we're trying to do with age-friendly innovators is help people identify ways that they can either make that decision before their health makes it for them, that they want to move, let them be the decision maker, and or how can they remedy something that makes it difficult to live in their home? And there are a lot of ideas out there, and part of what we do is facilitate finding the best ways.
So tell me, you actually say, if I'm in a home right now, someone listening to us, and say, you'll come to their home and do this assessment with them, or get them started on this, or help them do this to assess where they are and what those needs might be. Because I agree with you, and the one thing you said, and I hope everybody heard you on that, don't let the medical issue dictate your move. Plan and get that ahead of time. I've seen that just in my little world a lot. I will just tell you that. So I agree with you on that.
And we do have, in order not to let that dictate the move, and fall, fracture, hospitalization, rehab center, that's the big game changer. But we do have an assessment tool that we would make available to people. Ultimately, we hope it will be in an iPad or iPhone fashion. But it's right now, it's a paper tool that I've had nursing students help me assess people in their homes, looking at, what's difficult for me? How much light is there for reading? How difficult it is to get up and down the stairs, get groceries into the house? What would happen if an emergency vehicle came to my house? Could they find it? And we've done some what we call beta testing, early stage testing of this tool. We think it's going to save lives. We think it's going to avoid costs for people and for society. So we are passionate about doing more of that assessing.
And Pete, one of the key elements of this particular tool that we've looked at a lot of checklists and recommendations and and this is probably not 100%, but not everything is there. That we may have overlooked something, which I think is why we're still testing it. But it's to incorporate the individual into the assessment process. In other words, you're not just measuring the width of the doors or seeing if there's a grab bar in the bathroom. It's understanding the mobility and other issues that the person living in the home might have, because that'll help dictate what are urgent things that need to be changed versus something that would be nice to change or you need to think about down the road. But when we go into a home, and we've done this several times now, there are some things you see that you think, hey, look, that is an immediate hazard. And some of them are really simple. A throw rug. Everybody's got a throw rug, and they're a trip hazard bar.
Waiting to happen.
Just waiting to happen. So, and there are other things, but a lot of these things don't cost much money. They're just common sense. So, but it's important to really understand the issues of the individual before you do that. And so it's best if it's administered by a family member or a caregiver as opposed to the individual trying to do it themselves, because they're not going to be as objective. But it can be a very good tool. We used it with a 91-year-old friend of ours who lived in his own home, and his home was a challenge. We knew that going in, but we found that he had steps going down to the entrance to his home, and they were uneven. The height and width of each step was different and so you don't get a smooth gate going. And it only had a single rail as opposed to a rail on each side. That's just one. Well, his was the home that had the street letters painted white to match the color of the paint on the house, so you couldn't see him.
And that's one of the things, isn't it? That people don't know how to find you.
Well, the EMT can't find you. That's a big problem. Obviously,
you haven't cut your bushes back. It's covering the thing or whatever because you can't take care of your yard anymore. Things like that.
Right.
Well, there's a lot of seniors out there, aren't there, Sharon, in our valley? I mean, we're a retirement mecca. People moving in here, and so it seems like they're coming here and having a variety of housing available and options available for those coming here is one side of the story. The other side are those of us and the thousands of us who are already here living in a place that we own. And I think it's amazing, I just my limited experience with it, but many seniors own their homes. They've paid them off. Yeah. They've lived in them for 30, 40 years. And so that's an option they have also, don't they? Because of that, they can maybe stay there longer by getting some of these things done and remodeling and that. So I like the options that are onto them.
Yeah.
And in each situation is individual.
Yeah.
So looking at that with the person is important. But the exploding demographic of older adults, the silver tsunami that is, it's still true that statewide the population of people over 65 is about 13%. In this valley, it's 25%. There are pockets where 30% of the population is older adults who want to live in their homes and want to do it safely and comfortably. And so we want to help them.
And remember, 10,000 baby boomers a day retire for the next 25 years.
Amazing.
So that's going to obviously change. Our generation has changed everything since we have been born, haven't we? And now we're going to change the way we age in place in our homes before we all disappear off the planet. So,
and Pete, in interest of full disclosure, I'll tell you that I'm not actually a baby boomer. I was born in 1942.
Okay.
So I'm not,
you're a little pre-boom.
I'm a pre-boomer, I guess. I don't know what they call that, but Sharon qualifies. She's a little bit younger than I am.
Now, one of the things I understand is that the realtors here are adding the aging in place designation of a property onto the MLSs. So people in the future, or now I guess, will be able to see or to look up and search whether this is an aging in place home. Is that right?
It's certified to the lifelong housing standard, I think is the way.
Okay, the lifelong housing standard.
I don't think they call it aging in place. I think it's certified to the standard. I think there's a standard for energy as well. So it's one of those types of checkoffs.
And that was important to get, wasn't it? So it's been recognized that this is going to be a coming thing that has arrived.
And again, it's unique to the Valley right now, or Jackson and Josephine County, but other counties, much larger counties, Multnomah, Washington Lane, to name three, up north, are looking at this very closely to adopt a similar type certification program.
So they're not up to us yet in our world, huh? Yep. Well, that's not unusual in many things, is it? This should be no different. We're talking about age-friendly homes in the Rogue Valley. Now, next Saturday, is the big symposium, and Howard and Sharon are going to tell us about that. If you have an interest in this, it's something you probably want to attend next weekend. We'll talk about that when we return. The Real Estate Show rolls on here on KMED. This show repeats Sunday at 9 a.m., and all of our shows are available at realestateshoworegon.com. The Real Estate Show on KMED this weekend. Pete Belcastro with you here today. Joe's out at the North-South baseball game today. Big doubleheader at Harry and David Field. Lots going on. Of course, it's Easter weekend as well, so hope you're having certain observances or whatever. Hope it's going to have a good weekend, whatever your plan, that's for sure. Real Estate Show today. Next week, we'll have Frank Mania from Tycor Title. We'll have an update on commercial real estate activity in the Rogue Valley. In 2 weeks from today, Bob Gervais will be back and we'll give you a RE/MAX Market Watch update on what's happening with activities throughout the Rogue Valley. And there's a lot going on, that's for sure. People are busy. Buyers are out there. Listings are up. So everybody's saying, April is the busiest real estate month of the year. And we'll see if that actually holds true again this year, which is it probably will. Today, however, we're talking about aging in place homes. And there's as you're finding out, a whole topic of this and a great conversations that we're having today with Sharon Johnson and Howard Johnson, age-friendly specialists. And what you're doing is really cool. You guys we talk about age-friendly homes. You're building one for yourself.
We are. We decided that we needed to walk the talk, so we sold our not age-friendly at all home and are living in a rental, which is flatter than our other one, but still not completely accessible. And we're starting to build what we think will be the age-friendly home that we can have walkthroughs, we can have demonstrations, we can show it as well as the other age-friendly homes to other people.
Yeah, well, I love that you're walking the walking the talk and you're doing that. And when you get it done in the fall, you said,
yep.
I would have an open house. We
will invite you.
Joe.
We promise.
You want to come and see it and see what that's like. Was it difficult leaving? I mean, I haven't had to do this yet, but I know so many couples, and even single people, when that time comes to leave that place that they've lived for years and years and years. I mean, was it difficult for you guys? Just say no. Really? Was it that easy?
Well, Sharon nods her head. I shake my head. I was ready to give up the yard. Believe me.
You were ready before Sharon then.
I think so.
Yeah.
But for me, the challenge was to. We'd been in the home for 14 years. It was a lovely home. It had a great view and so on. Great, wonderful neighbors. We accumulated stuff, and what to do with that stuff became a real challenge. Do we keep it? Do we move it? And we did. We had a garage sale. We gave quite a bit to Goodwill and Salvation Army and the hospice boutique down in Ashland, and really tried to downsize. I donated 65 books to the Genealogical Library in Jackson County.
Downsized. Downsized.
Yeah, we downsized. Yeah.
But I like to call it right sizing.
Right. Yes, that's the new term, right size.
Right sizing. Yeah. Yes, and indeed we all have more stuff than we need. Yeah. So if we can help figure out a way. It was painful for us, but we learned from it. Maybe we can help other people. What is the best way? One person I know just rented a big storage unit, moved everything that he couldn't decide what to do with into the unit, and then made the decisions more slowly.
That's really true. Well, I remember when I bought my house, I said, they're going to have to haul me out in a pine box because I'm never moving again. Well, 25 years later, I have changed my thought, Howard, because I have the yard and the thing, and I said, no, I want a smaller place. I I don't want to do this myself. So, but you get tied, so people get so tied, so emotional to their properties, that's so hard for them to do. And what's going to happen with that? And it's just, in the end, it's just a piece of property that someone else is going to come in and enjoy as much as you did. And so that kind of thing. The symposium next weekend is the first time you're doing this, right? In the Valley.
Yes.
And you're really bringing together what, Sharon, for this?
Well, we're bringing together experts, local and out of area experts on age-friendly housing, age-friendly living. The audience, the targeted audience is realtors, appraisers, builders, contractors who want to know more about this age-friendly stuff. But people from the general public who may want to tour the home at the end of the day, may want some specific information on the assessment tool, may want to just network with other builders and realtors. So we see it as useful 9 to 3 at the Scottish Rite Center in Medford. You can register on the RVCOG website. You could call me if you wanted to know how to register, 541-261-2037. Or you can get more information about this in the Age Friendly Innovators website.
Just to add to that, by the way, it's rvcog.org. And if you go there, there's all the registration.
And that's where you can register for it. Okay.
And you had brought up, Pete, the issue of bathrooms and kitchens. There'll be an expert on that who will give a whole training session discussing age-friendly kitchens and bathrooms.
Well, I'm really intrigued by the assessment tool that you'll help seniors within their home. That is really a cool thing. Sharon, if someone wants to get a hold of you to do that, okay, beyond the symposium, how can they get a hold of you to do that? Because I think that would be something that a lot of people could really use some very good help for. Because you say, be smart. Don't avoid as many problems as you can by being proactive, and that makes sense. So how can they get a hold of you if they need that?
The simplest contact, and I am very open to having people call me, again, 541-261-2037. We have a website for agefriendlyinnovators.org. But the best place to really hear about it and hear from the 91-year-old man who had his house assessed and now made some changes would be next Saturday at the symposium. Okay.
Well, we'll see what happens. Hopefully a lot of people will go to it, and it's going to be kind of cool. And I'm excited what you're doing. I think it's neat.
Yep.
And the thing is, you're beginning right at the top of the thing here. I mean, where you take this, where it's going to go.
And we have the luxury to look at this floor plan and really say, we really want to make this shower a little bit different and redesign it. I mean, because it's all on paper right now. Pretty soon, the construction will start, but it really will have a lot of personal touches.
Mm-hmm. One of the things that's really changed in my world here was that when green construction seemed like such a big coming thing, and yet builders don't seem to be using it as much as it can. You don't see as many solar panels. I mean, you just don't see as much green things as I think that there should be, probably. In the same way as this comes into place now, aging in place homes, how much is it going to take off, and how much is it going to be? And it seems like this is going to be something that's going to stick and stay because of the results that can be the benefit from it versus the non-benefits and the expense it's going to cost people.
I think the need is real obvious.
Yeah.
And hopefully people will see that and act on it.
agefriendlyinnovators.org.
Correct.
That's the website for Sharon and Howard's website there, and they got great information. So please check it out. And good luck next Tuesday. Thank you for being with us, both of you. Great to see Howard Johnson and Sharon Johnson as well. All right, that'll do it for the Real Estate Show here this weekend. Thank you for being with us, as always, here on KMED. Check out our website, realestateShowOregon.com, or all on YouTube, Real Estate Show Oregon. There at YouTube. We're there. Have a great week. God bless everybody.
Thank you for listening to the original Real Estate Show with Pete Belcastro and Joe Brett, the Real Estate Guys. For advice, guidance, or counsel on any of our topics, or to watch a replay of today's show, visit our website at realestateshowOregon.com. This show is sponsored by RE/MAX, Ideal Brokers of Southern Oregon, Ticor Title, All Cities Property Management, and the Jackson Soil and Water Conservation District. We'll continue our weekly quest to enhance the value of your property and to make you a smart real estate consumer when we gather every Saturday and Sunday on KMED for the one and only original real estate show.